Hello and welcome to this week's Etch Play weekly live show. I am joined today by Ben. Ben, how are we doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing very good. Yeah, good, thank you. Is it nice to be back in the saddle? We've let you have a few weeks off, haven't we?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been here for ages. I can't actually remember the last time I was on. Maybe last year.
Do you remember how it works?
No, this going to be a train wreck.
Oh dear. Apparently I've got double audio. That's fun.
Do you remember how this works?
Not in the slightest. Let's see, what do we have to manage that? Okay, not everybody has double audio.
Oh, Adam's ears. No, Adam.
Okay.
Railing the
we just got some... Just causing problems, Adam. We're giving you this break for the show. He just has to come in and ruin it. Right, Ben, shall we start with the news as we like to do?
Let's do that.
Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got going on this week. So first up, Google deprioritizing Stadia. In a report that came out this week, Google are apparently deprioritizing Stadia, while it focuses on streaming. According to Business Insider, the focus is now allegedly on securing streaming deals for Stadia under the label Google Stream. Google has already last year pitched. I'm not very good at reading this. Google has already last year pitched. No, but this is just written wrong. Not that I'm reading. This is just me.
Who wrote this?
Who wrote this? Do you want to read it?
Yeah, I'll read it. So they pitched already to Bungie, and Bungie would have had complete ownership of the studio and the IP and the front end experience, and Google would have powered the back end. So basically, they were trying to get into bed with Bungie to kind of get Stadia off the ground with the streaming, and they also did a similar deal or pitched a similar deal to Capcom. And this is according to Business Insider. I don't think there's been any confirmation outside of from within Google, that they've done this. But I mean, Business Insider is usually pretty reputable, so it must be a half decent source for them to have published it. But yeah, seems like obviously that didn't really go anywhere. Neither seem to have jumped on board, and I would be very surprised now if Bungie is going to get on board with Google now that they've just been given billions of dollars from Sony.
Yeah, it's. I find this with these kind of huge moves that the big players make, they just seem to either expect it to blow up immediately, or just cut it and run, and it kind of feels like maybe they're pivoting Stadia without really giving it a shot. And we played it on the show, we checked it out, the tech seemed good, it worked, and I think maybe they didn't get the traction they wanted out the gate, but it just seems like a lot of investment and a lot of good work to pivot so that you can privy to the inner conversations that happen there.
Yeah, it feels like it's really coming from a lack of focus. Like, it's probably not maybe that high up on Google's priority list anyway, but then when it is being looked at, it just seems like it's probably changing too much. Like, it's been changing leadership, it's been changing the way the business is operating, they've shut down internal games within the studios, third parties now simply there, like, deprioritizing Stadia completely to stream, and it's like, you've got to stick with something. I think, like, I'm all for, if something's not working, then move away from it, but I think you're right. I just don't think it's been given a proper shot, and it was always going to be difficult to go against the likes of Microsoft and Sony, who have been embedded in gaming for so long, for Google to come in. And maybe they did just think, hey, we're Google, we're so big, it's not going to matter, we're just going to take off immediately because we are Google, and that's just not the way it works.
I think that's an interesting point, and perhaps Google tried to sort of own too much of the pie, and they've got the technology. Like I say, sort of Game Pass really is the only playable streaming service that's got any traction at the moment, and so like it's going to need competition. So yeah, hopefully they'll make something of it, and we'll see some future incarnation. But yeah, moving on, we have some news that there's a new GTA in the works, to everybody's shock, I'm sure. It's hard to believe nearly 9 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 was released, having been present on 3 generations of consoles and topping the sales charts consistently. I mean, it has pretty much sat in those top 10 sales charts for all of those 9 years. Like, absolutely staggering how successful GTA 5 was. So yeah, naturally seemed inevitable. We've been patiently waiting for GTA 6. Rockstar have remained tight-lipped about such project up until earlier this week, where they very casually put a throwaway line in one of their community updates stating, "And we are pleased to confirm that active development for the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series is well underway. We look forward to sharing more as soon as we are ready." So yeah, pretty understated for what has been one of the most highly anticipated games that we know nothing of for the last few years. We, of course, still basically don't know anything. In fact, very much in the same position as we already were. But yeah, it's kind of nice to have it confirmed by Rockstar themselves. Are you looking forward to GTA 6?
I am, yeah, I am really looking forward to it. I was never really big on the GTA games. I guess I was kind of probably too young for the early ones because I'm just a kid, really. But GTA 5 was the first one that I properly played and put a lot of hours into it and just loved it. It was so good. And as we said, like, it's topped. I've been in the top 10 sale charts for nearly a decade now, which is no mean feat. We often talk about long life games. I mean, this is a long life game. It's been so successful that it's now 9 years later, and we're only just getting a confirmation that the next one's coming. So we knew it was coming. There's no way it wasn't. But we've heard it from the horse's mouth now that they're working on it. So I mean, who knows when it'll be? It could be another 3 years before we see anything. But at least now we officially know it's coming. So it's going to be exciting to see where they take it next. I'm sure it will do very well. I'm sure it will knock around probably for another 10 years.
Guaranteed success story. But it will be interesting to see, like, what more can you do? Like I said, we've seen sort of next gen updates. We saw them tackle multiplayer extremely effectively. Like you mentioned, kind of like the whole service game setup. They've done that well. So I mean, a very solid platform to start from. But expectations are going to be extremely high, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, last up, Bandai Namco to invest in the Metaverse, a term that we're all getting very familiar with as more and more companies seem to be getting on board with the idea. If you're not up to speed on the Metaverse, Adam has got a post that will be up on the Etch Play blog. Is it posted yet, or is it going up soon?
I thought it was posted. Now Adam will confirm in the chat if it is all.
So, if it...
Next week.
So keep an eye out for
breaking
that.
News.
Breaking news. It is very, very good. So do check that out. And yeah, Bandai Namco have shared their vision in a midterm plan presentation earlier this week, unveiling their aims to invest $130 million into its IP Axis strategy. This strategy includes building a virtual space to accommodate 3 goals: connecting fans, enhancing IP value, improve global presence to drive sales outside of Japan. The plan states, in this IP metaverse, we are anticipating virtual spaces that will enable customers to enjoy a wide range of entertainment on an IP axis, as well as frameworks that leverage Bandai Namco's distinctive strengths to fuse physical products and venues with digital elements. We are aiming for open frameworks that provide venues for connections with and among fans and business partners. Through the IP Metaverse, we will establish communities among Bandai Namco and fans, as well as among fans themselves. So, taking the kind of very much virtual worlds lens on the Metaverse, no mention yet of the tainted crypto and blockchain conversation. What are your thoughts on this, Ben?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think probably the next 10 years. I don't think we're going to see anything in the next 1 or 2 years. I think this is going to be a bit of a slow burn before we see anything substantial or probably worthwhile that people actually, as a consumer, get invested in. Because that's the main thing, right? If consumers don't get invested in it, it's not going to go anywhere because that's what it needs. But it feels like the idea of the metaverse is one place. Whereas it seems like everyone is kind of talking about they're setting up a metaverse. It's like, well, is it the metaverse if you've got one over here and one over there and one over there and one over there? So whether it gets renamed or whatever, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see where it goes. But I think it's really going to depend who's willing to, I guess, break the mold and open up. Like Bandai Namco talking about creating their own metaverse with their own IP, which is great. But are they gonna connect that with someone else? If they're not, then I don't think the metaverse will really go anywhere substantial if people don't open up and kind of open the door to let consumers live in one space. Because I think if people are going to have to live in 8 different spaces, then I think the allure isn't there. I might be wrong, but it just feels like it's a lot harder work, and consumers won't want to work hard. We just want.
Yeah, we want to walk our Pac-Man into Halo, into Destiny. That's what we're waiting for. Exactly. So yeah, currently lots of people doing Metaverse. What's the plural of Metaverse?
Metaverse I.
Right, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, but I think that's where it just feels weird. Like it feels like there shouldn't be a bunch of metaverses. It feels like there should be one that everyone is a part of. But maybe I just don't think that's going to happen. Not anytime soon.
Tyre's suggesting metaverses if we're thinking along the line of universes, which is very sensible.
I didn't want a sensible answer.
But not very funny.
Yeah.
Come on,
look who you're talking to. I'm not going to give a sensible answer.
So obviously there's a lot more news. We had Nintendo Direct last night, but we're going to do a bit of a deep dive on that in our discussion shortly. But that's the headlines from this week's news, and giving the people what they want. I'm going to play some more games this week. I'm going to be checking out the newly released OlliOlli World from Roll7, published by Private Division, which I am very excited for. It is controller only, and we all know I'm not very good at video games, so we'll have to see how this goes.
So if everyone's had a stressful week, they're ready to unwind, get your feet up now and prepare to take those stress levels to a new high as we watch down try and play again.
So here we go. This is OlliOlli World. We are looking at a map of Radlandia, which is the setting of this game. You can see my little avatar there. Let's have a look at me. Here we go. This is me. I've modelled it. I've given myself an Etch Play green skin tone. I've got my beard and my hairstyle there, but given it our Etch group pink highlights.
Look at this, always on brand.
So there's loads of customization you can do. So you can pick your body shape, your skin tone, hair color, as you would expect. You can customize your tricks, poses, which is very important. Your board setup. You can choose your deck and trucks and wheels. Loads and loads of customization, which is good fun, and loads of things to unlock as well, which is cool. And yeah, it's kind of it's controller only at this point, which has upset a few people. If you're the die-hard keyboard and mouse fans, they may bring that, but it is quite focused on kind of, I guess, analog stick movements. To
suit me. I can't play keyboard on mouse.
I'm gonna save spare comment on that. So we've got these different zones. I'd like to think that controller suits me better, but I'm about to show the world my OlliOlli skills. Yeah, exactly. So I've done a few. I kind of did a couple of tutorial levels, and you're kind of working your way around this first section, aiming to. I think the aim is we're trying to be the next Grand Wizard of Radlandia, and these are our companions, and they give us challenges and tips and guidance. And we're meeting Swifty here. I get to choose my little conversation, so we'll see what Swifty has to say. How's it going? She's one of the melters. Swifty the melter. She works at the Scoop. This is the ice cream shop that we visited.
I thought that was maybe the local newspaper.
Well, yeah. Looking for Technicolas, right?
I like the art style. It kind of reminds me of, and Dan, you probably won't get this reference, but maybe someone closer to my age in the chat will. It kind of looks like The Weekenders that used to be on Disney Channel.
Okay, yeah.
Back when I was a kid, looked similar
After
to that.
my time, but
After your time, yeah.
It is a stunning game. So there we go. We've gone through a little bit of narrative, and yeah, you can see now I'm going to do this course. Tells me what my previous score was, gives me a few goals and challenges, and some scores to beat. So I did play this once. I can scoot, and then I've also got these rails I can grind. And let's see what else.
Points for that.
Yeah. And yeah, not very good as it would seem.
You got 1,500 points though. Feels all right.
Yeah, I was getting the hang of it, I thought, and then one of the sort of first more difficult challenges came along, and made me realise just how difficult the game is.
Feels like it's all about timing.
It's timing and coordination. Right. You kind of the analog stick. You move it, or like when I'm coming off is what? Oh, there you go. So when you exit the jump is when you got to use the analog stick moves, which is
right.
where I'm struggling, especially with talking as well. Apparently, I'm really not very good at this, but we're trying our best.
Did you lose points there? It looked like you were on 9,000 and then you went down to 8,000.
It's probably the score that you've built up is when you land the trick. Is when you get the get the points awarded. So if you don't land the trick, then
oh, that was impressive.
Thank you. A little forked road there.
I did like in the menus that there was an option for the Trictionary. I appreciate that. Picking up some pace now.
There we go, and that's a level completed there. So yeah, struggling with talking and doing these, and as you're riding the rails and doing the jumps, you kind of move the joystick, and then when you let go is when you perform the trick. So rather than being like press the jump button at the point you want to jump, you need to let go of buttons at the jump point, which is where it's a bit different perhaps to usual. So yeah, we can see there that I completed the level and did no other challenges whatsoever. And I can do a replay. I can redo this level, but we'll just continue to have a little bit of variety and see what else we can do.
Nice. Are you a skate game fan? Have you played the likes of Tony Hawk and Skate and that kind of stuff?
I did play a lot of Skate and Tony Hawk on the original Xbox and the 360, and I did really enjoy it. I've got into the long combo chains you could do, but I've not touched anything like it in a while. This is kind of also like a bit like Alto's Adventure, the mobile game. It's got some elements to that which I also very much enjoyed. Let's go and check out the Scoop Special. No idea what this is. This is the first time I've seen a fork in the path that you take through Radlandia. Get more ice cream.
It feels very arcadey, this kind of game. It feels like the kind of game you'd maybe pick up like be playing in an old school arcade, that kind of thing. It also looks, from someone who's not having to play it, looks like it's quite accessible to maybe just pick up and go, not be a master, but it feels like...
it's exactly as I'm doing here, really. I'm just kind of like just about making it through through some of the parts, but the mastery is getting all the challenges, doing all the different tricks, and I genuinely thought this wouldn't be as painful for people to watch, but I'm realising now that it's absolutely going to be just as bad as I normally am.
Yeah, alright, no one's kicking off in the chat yet, so you must be doing okay.
or we've disconnected.
Yeah, but oh, it's because everyone's gone.
I keep.
I get that one right.
No, I keep pressing. So you've got the button which is scoot, and then, like I said, you let go to jump, and I keep trying to scoot instead of jumping. Because clearly I'm not very good at concentrating and coordinating.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit quietly and let you get over this time. I know you can do it.
No, I can't.
No,
clearly.
No, you can't.
Right, this time we'll do it. We'll get it right this time. Right, so I'm going to get this rail and jump there. There we go.
Yeah, nailed it.
Right, now.
Fourth time of after.
Rail slide going.
Are you getting extra points for going through those cats?
Yeah, I think there's probably a challenge like hit all the cats or something. Because who likes cats?
Yeah, exactly. So it's this game. Obviously, you're playing on PC. Is it PC only, or is it?
No, it's available on I think all major platforms. I'm not sure if it's on. Is it on Switch? Probably is. I think it's.
It looks like it would be a Switch game.
Yeah.
It feels very Switch.
It's really fast. I should have started on the easier levels. Maybe we'll go back and do it for that.
It does look like you're picking up. It does look like you're picking up pace every time you do a run. I don't know if that's intentional or like if the game's making you go a bit quicker.
I mean, you build up speed as you scoot, and then you also build up speed, obviously, with the descending that you're doing on these rails and things. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go and do an earlier level, aren't I? Because
yeah, I mean, you are struggling a bit. Do you have left and right control, or are you?
No, you literally
go
just
forward and
you're just kind of along for the ride, and you've just got to time the jumping. There we go. There we go.
Now you.
I don't know how I'm supposed to switch lanes to that other path. I've probably not read some tips along.
The way it's going, I wouldn't try.
Let's just try and get to the end.
Yeah, let's just get to the end.
There we go.
I think you're just about there, surely. Maybe it just swaps you over when it needs to. Oh.
It's alright, there are checkpoints.
Oh, right, okay, cool. So I have to go all the way. Right. I'd say if you have to go all the way back to the beginning again.
But it is fast, and you've got to get your timing right. There we go.
There we go.
So yeah, so this is OlliOlli World. I'm gonna spare everyone and not do any more. Pete with the advice, I've got to jump the stairs, which is useful advice. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've demonstrated more of my mad gaming skills. OlliOlli World by Roll7, really good game. It is good fun. It is very approachable, despite how hard I make it look. Yeah, I would thoroughly suggest people check it out. Available on all major platforms. And yeah, that's OlliOlli World. Now, let's see if I can get us. See if I can stop the audio.
Hello to everyone in the chat while Dan does that. Emma's just arrived. Pete's here, Tyred's here, Adam's here, Tony's here, Miles is here. The whole gang. Thanks for tuning in. Live gameplay, risky business. It was risky business, Emma. Dan was a fair play to him. He did it. And
he played it.
He played it. I mean, I'm not going to criticize at all. I mean, when we did Anna Crucis the other week and I tried to talk, I couldn't do it at the same time. It's too difficult.
Doing this really does make you appreciate the art form that is streaming video games. We try be entertaining, informative, and actually play a video game, which is any one of those things is a struggle for me. So trying to do all of them, it's just absolutely not. But yeah, last night Nintendo Direct.
It was.
Tell us all about it, Ben. What happened?
They're always fun. There's a lot of games that got announced and updates announced last night, so we won't go through all of them. So what I'm going to do is kind of just go through some of the ones that caught my attention, and we'll just have a chat about it, really. So I guess we'll start with what wasn't there at the show, which people were probably hoping to see. There was no Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Wasn't mentioned. Didn't get to see anything. I would say probably anecdotally that's probably the most anticipated Switch game that people are waiting for. I mean, Breath of the Wild was so popular and did so well, and it seems like almost anyone who picks it up is putting hundreds of hours into it. It's a game people pick up and they play and play and play. So people are eagerly waiting it, but wasn't there. Wasn't mentioned. So I guess I'm sure we'll find out more as the year goes on, but no news as of yet. And the other big name that was missing was Metroid Prime 4. No mention of that one either. Obviously, people are waiting for that, but probably not to the level of Zelda. But neither of those games were there, which was disappointing. But you can't be too disappointed because of everything else that was there. There was a ton of stuff, and one which maybe caught a lot of people by surprise is that No Man's Sky, which was made by our friends Hello Games. Big shout out to those guys. Is coming to the Switch, and it's coming in the summer of this year. So No Man's Sky, which came out originally in 2016 on PC and PlayStation, and a couple of years later also made its way to Xbox, and now this year is coming to the Nintendo Switch, so kind of hitting all of the major consoles now. And yeah, I mean, they must be putting so much work into that, because getting that to run on a Switch is going to be no mean feat, and I've no doubt that they'll be able to do that. And I think if they weren't able to do it, they wouldn't have done it for the sake of. So that's really exciting to see that universe.
Such a impressive feat, I think. Like, the Switch is a great device, but it's not the most powerful console on the market by a long stretch. And yeah, I know there's been lots of speculation and people saying it just wouldn't be possible. And you know, you've got 15 quintillion planets to fit in that little Switch. So yeah, very, very, very impressive, and I'm really looking forward to having a look at that. And it includes all of the 5 years worth of updates as well, which is good value. So yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're not biased, but we have a lot of respect for the Hello Games team. We've worked with them for a long time, and we know all the great work they do. But it's testament to the title and to the team behind it that 5 years on, they're still, you know, putting all this work into it. They're bringing it to a new console, which shows people want it. People are still playing it a lot. But yeah, props to them, and very exciting time for us as players and for the studio as well to get that on the Switch. So yeah, that was a nice surprise for a lot of people last night, and the trailer looked amazing as always. Next up, one that caught my attention is Mario Strikers Battle League Football. So that's going to be a five-a-side football game, kind of in the Mario Kart-esque kind of style, and the more the hecticness, not the cars obviously, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be five-a-side football teams. You can play locally, you can play online, and basically have a football match with all the Mario characters that you're used to, and taking people out with bananas and oil and that stuff. And it looks hectic. It looks like an awful lot of fun, and it's something I think the Mario franchise does really well. Is kind of embed itself into sports and just put such a twist on it that it makes it entertaining. Like for me personally, I'm not a massive, you know, in my time I have been, but like when new FIFA games come out, like it's not really capturing my attention that much. It's not the kind of game I play much these days. But when Mario Football comes out, I'm like, ooh, that's got my attention.
It's going to be unique Nintendo carnage on a football pitch. You don't need to like football, but you know what that's going to be like. And well, I think it is an appealing formula for sure.
So that's coming out, I think June the 10th. So kind of almost a year after Mario Golf came out last year, the speedrun golf. So yeah, it's going to be another exciting installment in the Mario franchise, and I think one I'll probably be checking out. Also announced was Disney Speedstorm, which is a very Mario Kart-esque racing game, but it's using a combination of Disney animated characters and Pixar characters. And this got me, with the Mario game that I just talked about, and it got me thinking about the importance of like embedded IP. Like, there are so many racing games out there, but I was immediately interested in Disney Speedstorm just because of the Disney IP that's in there. I mean, I have Mario Kart and I love it. I was a big fan of Lego Racers on the Nintendo 64. Like, I like those kind of games. I do like the hardcore racing games, but I like the more casual ones as well. But I think, like, had this been like just generic characters, or even maybe like DreamWorks characters, as much as I like DreamWorks, like, I don't think I'd be giving it that much thought. I'd be like, oh, that's cool, but I would move on quite quickly, I think. Whereas because it's Disney and it's Pixar, and I am massive fans of that IP, it almost didn't matter what the game was. The IP itself caught my attention.
Quite a cast of characters, isn't it?
So I just think it's maybe something we overlook, and it kind of highlights how hard it is, I think, to create new IP and make it stick. So when someone does do that, it's a massive achievement. Like, it's not a given that this game will be good because it's Disney and Pixar, but it also gets a lot more eyeballs quicker because people are familiar with it. And obviously a lot of work has gone into building up that IP and to kind of earn that right. But it's once you were able to do that, I mean, man, it just makes your life so much easier from a discoverability perspective.
It's very much what Ty and I were talking about last week. It's kind of like having an established audience. Like you're definitely starting yourself off on the right foot in that scenario, rather than trying to build something from scratch, for sure.
So yeah, I think I'll be checking that one out. Another game, this one might interest you, Dan. So for Star Wars fans, there is a port of the Wii version of Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, which is coming out on Switch on April. Did you play that Star Wars game? I know you've played a few of them.
I did not, but yeah, I did see the announcement, and this does look up. Can't get enough Star Wars, really. So yeah, definitely keen to check that out.
Oh, and another port, which again I think might interest you because I know you're a fan of the franchise. Assassin's Creed: The Ezio Collection is coming. That's coming very soon, 17th of February. And this got me thinking about kind of porting as a strategy. And kind of, I was interested in what your opinion around porting is, because I think you could look at it a couple of different ways. I mean, the cynics will go, oh, it's a port, give me a new game. Like, all you're doing is just pumping out the same title, which I bought before, for a new console, which I think is a cynical view of looking at it. I mean, you could argue it, but it feels quite cynical. I think another way of looking at it is, I asked your opinion, and then I'm just giving mine. So.
No, keep going, man.
And then, it feels quite sensible in that it's not that porting is easy, but it allows you to get a title out and something technically new out maybe a little bit quicker while you focus on building a new game, so you can keep some revenue coming in. And I think also it speaks to kind of the testament and like nostalgia that a lot of us feel, like, where obviously people are willing to buy ports, otherwise people wouldn't port their game up to new consoles. So I think when games do that, it's a testament to their popularity and the long lifeness that we often talk about.
It's such a. I mean, there's many different ways. Obviously, you've got porting kind of across platforms, so from PC to console to PC, or even to mobile, which has a pragmaticness about it. Like, if you're going to build a title, it's much easier to build it and release it on one platform. And if you're a smaller studio, you've not got the funding, you need to generate revenue at some point. And it's maybe, you might not be able to afford to just wait until you've done all the ports before you can release. So there's definitely a pragmatic approach. And then there's the porting between generations. I think it's almost a badge of honor that your game can last that long. And yeah, that, like you mentioned about that kind of nostalgia, your audience enjoyed the experience so much they're prepared to visit again, and it's an opportunity to introduce new people who maybe weren't as active in games playing during the previous generation. And then when you bring in Switch and mobile as well, when you can put your game into a whole new context and people can travel and have it on the bus or whatever else, I think it's a great way to extend the life cycle of a product. And it's certainly not to, it isn't an easy task. They've got different input methods, different performance capabilities, different screen sizes. There's certainly no mean feat to do the process of porting. But yeah, I think it's nice that we've got so many different platforms that people can choose the platform that's right for them. Enthusiasts can experience it across these different platforms. So yeah, I think it's very much a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point you raised, actually, about introducing new people to a title. So like, if you weren't around, I kind of talked about it when we were talking about GTA. Like, I wasn't really around or ready for the Grand Theft Auto earlier games, and that will be having GTA 5, as we spoke about, as released 9 years ago and had more consoles than a lot of the people that are playing it. Like, if you weren't ready for it when Xbox 360 came out, and you can get it on the Xbox One, and it doesn't feel, I guess, like it's not an old game to you. So it introduces you to that game that you otherwise would have missed. And I guess, as a studio, you potentially are losing out massive chunks of your audience just from them perhaps being too young to appreciate the game when it comes out. So yeah, I think that is a really interesting point you raised there with porting. And yeah, definitely, I would say I'm for it. I'm not taking the cynical view of it. I think it is a good thing. Another game that caught my attention that's coming out again pretty soon, 15th of March, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So the trailer this time showcased a new mouth mode, which looked pretty cool. So essentially, Kirby can just swallow things and kind of take their form. So he can take things like vending machines, cones, and the coolest one I saw in the trailer was swallowing a car and kind of being a Kirby car, which looked cool. That was like it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's such a memeable mechanic, isn't it? You can just see so many people would go run riot with that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be very surprised to not see that kind of on the run up to it coming out, and when it comes out, kind of taking over certain corners of Twitter and Reddit, and I guess that will probably help in the marketing with the the unsung community heroes. I'm sure the community managers will be tirelessly trying to make GIFs and memes and stuff like that. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Another one which I thought of you when I was checking out what was announced. Portal Companion Collection is coming to Switch, and that'll contain Portal 1 and 2. Are you going to be checking that out on Switch? I feel like we talked about Portal and you're a fan of the game.
I love the Portal games, and kind of the porting Portal is a good thing, particularly as we know. I've got grand ambitions to try and exercise the benefits of the remote, flexible world that we're in. I want to go and do some traveling. The fact that these titles are becoming available on Switch is very exciting to me. Definitely, I love the idea of revisiting those favorite games in a whole new space. That's good news. Have you played Portal before?
I feel like I maybe have, but I can't really remember. It's normally a default good answer. Have I played it? Probably not. But I feel like I might have played Portal a long time ago. But
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, and it coming out on Switch might be that opportunity for you.
Yeah, there you go. Reaching a new audience by porting it. I'm the use case. And perhaps then this might be the most exciting announcement, maybe of all time, not just a Nintendo Direct, of all time. There is the new version of Wii Sports coming out, which is obviously now not Wii Sports, it is Nintendo Switch Sports, which is coming out on the 29th of April, so not too long to wait. And you'll be able to play it very similar to how you did on the Wii. The Joy-Cons will act like the Wii Remote did for Wii Sports. It's a lot of the old sports that we kind of grew to love from Wii Sports, like bowling and that kind of stuff. But there's 3 new sports coming. So volleyball has been added in, badminton's been added in, and one which really I found interesting is they've added in football, and there is an attachment you can get to attach the Joy-Con to your leg and play it that way, which makes me think a few TVs might be getting
There's no idea too ridiculous for Nintendo, is there? Oh, let's take this controller and strap it to our leg. People will love it, and people will. That'll be great fun.
Oh, definitely. And that's going to be for local play and online play for Nintendo Switch Sports. And I don't know, I loved Wii Sports. Like,
I can see an Etch Play Sports Day in our future.